Hail brothers, it's Amphibious. I drink to your health. Welcome to episode 1 of The Climb, Dota 2 The Climb. This will be a series I will be working on. And the purpose of this series is to document my ranking up, my MMR progression as a mid player in Dota 2. A mid player on an extreme time budget, however. I have time for one, maybe 2 sessions per week. Each session being between 2 and 3 hours of Dota 2 gameplay, which is nowhere near enough to really make significant progress fast. However, I am at heart a try-hard, sweaty gamer PvP, megalomaniac, psychopath type of fellow. And so I need to improve as a mid player and as a Dota player in general for one very simple reason, not because I care particularly about the rank or the number go up, but because the better you are at Dota, you see, the more delicious the struggle becomes, the contest between different players of a comparable skill level. When there's nothing really that can compare with nothing that I've experienced short of, I imagine, well, I don't know, maybe you drive a pickup truck into a tree at full speed and you have consumed the whole box of White Monster, and at the very last second you dive out the window and you just make it, and maybe that is comparable. But short of that, and I do not recommend this is not financial advice, there's nothing. So it's a fever. I have a fever and I need to progress at this game despite the fact that I don't really have the time to do so. Now, I thought to myself, Amphibious? I said, yes, I said, Amphibious, you should make a YouTube series about your climb in Dota 2. How you climb from where you are right now all the way up to where you will be in the future. Now, I will be predominantly using a best of 3 method, what is called the best of 3 method. And that is simply you play as if you were in a tournament, you play best of 3. So if you play and lose 2 games in a row, you end the session. The sole purpose of this technique is to manage your tilt and mindset, which is very, very common in Dota, and I suffer heavily from it, as do we all, Dota players. Now, I'm not sure how many of you watching this are experienced mid players. I am, at the moment, forced to practice last hitting. My last hitting is atrocious, as you might imagine, for an unk. I understand that's what the kids are saying these days. If you're 58 years old like I am, you're an unk. So I'm 69-year-old unk, and I will be practicing last hitting probably in Polygon. It still works. I know there's problems with Polygon because Polygon is a standalone arcade mode in Dota 2. But the fellow who made it he's done it as a passion project. It's free, so it's a pain for him to update it every time Valve launches a big patch. I think it messes up with a bunch of his stuff. But even so, I've just used it, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I was away for a few weeks, which incidentally, I came back and played the Dota game last night, and it was like my hands and fingers were made of wood. It was like I was mentally handicapped. It was very weird to pilot the hero. Now, given that I'm on an extreme time budget, I'm not sure how many replay reviews I'll realistically have time to do. However, I understand that is a core part of improving a Dota. You can probably do it without, but it would be a lot slower. So I will do my best to do replay review. I would like very much to record these and put them on the channel now. I don't know, my recording time is even less than my gameplay time. So, I don't know if I'll manage to do that. Maybe I can put a couple of them up. Obviously, the best way to progress at Dota is play one singular role, focus on specializing on the role, and having a very narrow main hero pool, let's say 3 or 4. I haven't really yet decided, and it does vary from patch to patch. My criteria for the heroes, given that this is a rank up kind of a challenge series, The Climb, on YouTube, Amphibious Dota channel. I hope you enjoy. But I will not be playing heroes that simply my heart chooses, because I will need to play heroes that are somewhat optimal or decent. I use Dota 2 Pro Tracker and Dota Buff more rarely, but I just kind of orient myself on what works on Dota 2 Pro Tracker because it tracks guys over 7,000 MMR, and it's a pretty good resource. And other than the hero pool decisions, which I will cover more as the series goes on and I have more games under my belt and more experience in this patch and I can have a more informed opinion. I will need to work on some mindset shifts, particularly tilt management and things like that. I noticed that when I'm calm, cold, and calculating, I play the best. When I don't take things personally and stuff, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. Now, my current MMR is just over 1500. So at the Crusader rank, anything really below Legend, if you put in a little bit of effort, I think probably below Legend, just narrowing your hero pool to 3 or 4 and sticking to one role, trying to master one role, you will probably just progress and win. So I'm not too worried about my current MMR. I wouldn't mind if they send me back to 0 to Herald. MMR is never really that important. I'm much more worried about my current skill set. So speaking of my current skill set, an honest assessment would be I'm pretty below mid. Not mid the lane, but just below average. I'm probably I'm probably significantly below average right now in terms of everything. My farm is always almost in every game, even when I have a lot of kills, I just don't seem to pick up a lot of creeps. I don't farm efficiently. I probably fight too much. The standard gaps. My map awareness isn't what it should be. My positioning is somewhat lacking. I've got some strong suits. I think I initiate pretty well. I think I apply aggression, pressure sometimes pretty well, but pretty below average at the moment. Those are my biggest leaks if I had to pin them down. Now, as I said earlier, my main goal is to master the 3 and 4 heroes I'm going to be focusing on. And as a secondary goal is to, let's say, gain 500 MMR by the end of the year. Now, that depends heavily on the sample size, meaning how many games I'm going to have time to play, because if I don't have enough time, unless they release a patch and there's a broken hero that you can just spam and gain free MMR, that seems like quite a lot. But I think it should be doable, and we'll see how it goes. Now, what you can expect from this series are raw thoughts and honest takes from an honest man. You will see my mistakes included. I will not avoid and shy away from my errors. And I will post my actual results periodically, per episode actually. In conclusion, if you're also a busy, molding player trying to climb the Dota 2 ranks, post your biggest struggles below in the comments, but not for algorithmic engagement, but because we can be chat friends that way. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.